When you guys try this recipe, you are going to go insane. It's so easy and delicious. It's a freezer banana cream pie, and the only baking that's involved is 12 minutes in the oven for the wafer crust. I absolutely love it, and I think that you're going to too. I have 6 ounces of vanilla wafers in here, and I'm gonna grind them to fine crumbs. If there's one that doesn't grind up, just consider it your own personal snack. I consider it mine. You need about 1.5 cups crumbs. I'm trusting that it is. Then I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter and 1/2 teaspoon of coarse salt. That's your crust. I love a crumb crust, don't you? Because they're so quick and easy to make. Pulse it until everything is evenly coated with the butter. It doesn't need to come together into a dough or anything like that. Everything just needs to be nice and evenly moistened. When the crumbs are completely moistened with the butter, just transfer them to a 9-inch pie plate. And then press the crumbs into the bottom and up the sides. You want to make sure it's nicely packed. I like to use the bottom of a dry measuring cup to get a really good, even pack. Just sort of generally spread it out so that you have an idea where everything needs to go, and then go back around and make sure it's nice and firm. It's the firm pressing that actually makes this into the crust. Once you pour your filling in and then the filling sets in there, it sort of moistens it and it just comes together. It's kind of magical. Have your oven preheated to 350 degrees and then bake until the crust is golden and fragrant, about 12 minutes. When the crust is golden, take it out of the oven and let it cool on a wire rack until it's completely cool. Then what you want to do is get your filling ready. I have 2 bananas for my filling. I need 2 more bananas for the topping later, so get 4 bananas all together. And then mash your bananas until they're smooth, or smooth-ish. Smooth-ish is good enough for me. You can use a potato masher if you want to. I'm just using a fork. It's a bit of a conundrum because you want your banana to be really ripe for the filling and a little bit firm for the topping. So buy 2 bananas, wait a day, buy 2 more bananas, and then the next day make the pie. When your banana is nice and mashed, add 1/3 of a cup of sweetened condensed milk. It's not a full can, so you can save the rest of your can for your coffee, which is fantastic. Just transfer it to something non-reactive to put it in the refrigerator. Don't store it in the can. Add a scant 1/4 teaspoon of coarse salt, and then 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. I'm using coarse salt. You can use fine salt, just use a little bit less. So a tiny pinch. Stir to combine. You could actually do this in a food processor if you wanted to, or you can have a few lumps like mine. You're just gonna have delicious lumps of banana in your pie. I have a cup of heavy cream. Beat it till stiff peaks form. I'm always worried about saying stiff peaks because I feel like people might overbeat it, so don't overbeat it, but get it stiff enough that it'll really hold its shape, because this is what's gonna give volume to the pie. Fold the whipped cream into your banana mixture. I have not yet mentioned that this needs to sit in the freezer for 12 hours. It's the only thing, I guess that's the only catch for this recipe, but that's not so much to ask. Maybe that's an advantage because you can make it ahead of time. And make-ahead desserts are always fantastic for parties and stuff. So then you don't even need to worry about it. Pour it into the cooled pie shell, and then it needs to freeze for 12 hours, basically overnight, or a long day of work. Smooth the top, cover it with plastic wrap, and into the freezer for 12 hours. When you're ready to serve it, brulee some bananas, which adds a great sort of like burnt taste, but the good kind of burnt taste, and even more banana-ness. Banana-ness, that's a word, you know. You may not have ever heard it before, but it is. A really elegant way to slice the bananas is lengthwise. You certainly don't need to do that, but it's kind of cool looking when you do. Slice the bananas enough to cover the top of the pie. That should be about 2. I may have cut mine just slightly too thick. They should be about 1/4 inch, but maybe even slightly thinner than that. If you're like me and you sliced it too thick, you may need 2.5 bananas. If If you drag your knife through the banana, you have an easier time of getting nice, elegant, thin slices. The thin slices are really great because you can lay them on top of each other and they're really elegant. Obviously, you're gonna wanna wait and do this at the last minute so that your bananas don't discolor, but you're gonna brulee it, which is gonna turn them brown anyway, so no biggie. Sprinkle generously with sugar, 2 tablespoons, maybe a little bit more. Bruleeing is burning sugar, basically. If you have a torch, that's the best way to do it. You can also do it underneath the broiler, but sometimes it has a tendency to soften your pie a little bit. Or not even a little bit, maybe a lot. And then you just burn the sugar on top until it starts turning golden brown. This is not a very, very strong torch, so it takes a few minutes. If you have like a big propane torch from your garage, I don't know if you do any welding, you do any soldering, use that. They work really well. If the pie gets too soft while you're bruleeing, you can always throw it back in the freezer for a few minutes. It shouldn't really happen. I just recommend taking it out and putting the bananas on top and bruleeing immediately. Don't let it sit too long. That looks pretty fantastic, don't you think? Lots of golden brown, a crunchy brulee. I want to try it, don't you? The very, very top layer has gotten a little bit soft because of the bruleeing, but that's okay. The rest of the pie is still completely frozen. Slice carefully, you don't want the brulee flying off. Great. Plain old banana, get out of the way, because I got bruleed banana coming up. Exciting, right? It's so beautiful and easy, and the bruleeing really, really makes this pie. I'm gonna try it. It's creamy, it's banana-y, it's brulee-y. It's so delicious. No custard, barely any baking. Bruleed banana cream pie. So cold. Delish. Hi guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click here if you want to subscribe and click over here if you want to continue watching more great videos like this.